Sports have the power to inspire us, bore us, or demoralize us, depending on the game. We've all experienced a last-minute score that gets an entire stadium on its feet, or a phenomenal save that keeps your team in the game. But sometimes these emotional moments transcend the sport itself and earn their place in the fabric of pop culture. Today, we're counting down the top 10 greatest moments in sports history. Tracy McGrady entered the NBA straight out of high school and was selected as the 9th overall pick by the Toronto Raptors in the 1997 NBA Draft. Beginning his career as a low-minute player, he gradually improved his role with the team. In 2000, he left the Raptors for the Orlando Magic, where he became one of the league's most prolific scorers and a candidate for the NBA MVP award. The latter years of his career were plagued by injuries, and he was forced to retire early. But for one night in 2004, McGrady was the talk of the league. McGrady's team, the Houston Rockets, were down by 8 points to the San Antonio Spurs with 30 seconds left on the clock. Tracy McGrady was racing down the court with the ball, his eyes focused squarely on the basket and the fate of the game in his hands. There was no way he was going to settle for a tie. McGrady was thinking about making a game-winning three-pointer the whole time. "I wanted to take my chances," McGrady said. "At that point, I felt anything I threw up was going to go in. The rim felt really big." So McGrady let fly with a running three-point shot with 1.7 seconds left, capping a one-man rally in the final minute to send the Houston Rockets to an improbable 81-80 win over San Antonio on Thursday night. McGrady scored 13 points in the final 35 seconds, including 4 difficult threes, to finish with 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 steals in a terrific clutch performance. "It was unbelievable," said Spurs coach Greg Popovich. The sleepy-eyed 25-year-old All-Star put on a virtuoso finish that rivaled any of the top last-second efforts in the league record books. The improbable win cemented McGrady as a key clutch player and earned him the number 10 spot on our countdown of the greatest moments in sports history. Though his personal life has been plagued with controversy, Tiger Woods is both one of the most talented and highest-paid golfers of all time. He first reached the number 1 position in the world rankings in June 1997, less than a year after turning pro. Throughout the 2000s, Woods was the dominant force in golf. He won the 2000 US Open by a record 15-shot margin. He was the top-ranked golfer in the world from August 1999 to September 2004, and again from June 2005 to October 2010. Maybe the most iconic moment of Tiger Woods' storied career came during the 2005 Masters, when he chipped in on the 16th hole of the final round. Woods was holding a one-stroke lead at the time and eventually won his 4th Masters in a playoff. According to Woods' former caddy, Woods was aiming for a mark the size of a dime and hit it on the fly. At the time, Woods had a one-stroke lead over his playing partner Chris DiMarco, whom Tiger would eventually beat in the playoff. DiMarco had 15 feet for birdie, while Woods had his tee shot on the par 3 into the rough. CBS commentator Lanny Wadkins called it one of the toughest pitches on the entire course and speculated that because of the thicker rough sitting just behind Tiger's ball, he'd have a hard time getting the ball within 15 feet of the hole. There was also the threat of having the ball roll off the green and into the bunker. Woods got the ball up in the air. It landed on the hill, slowly rolled down to the hole, where it rested on the edge for a moment and then fell in for a birdie, causing spectators and commentators alike to lose control. LeBron James is without question one of the greatest basketball players in history. James' NBA accomplishments are extensive and include 4 NBA Most Valuable Player awards, 3 NBA Finals MVP awards, 2 Olympic gold medals, 3 All-Star Game MVP awards, and an NBA scoring title. He is the all-time NBA playoff scoring leader and has amassed 14 NBA All-Star Game appearances. But James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, whom he spent most of his professional career with, were not always champions.
Today, let's paint.
In fact, Cleveland had not won a championship in any sport until 2016, when James led the team to an unthinkable victory against the Golden State Warriors after coming back from a 3-1 deficit in the series. The Cavaliers became the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 series deficit to win the NBA Finals. They became the first NBA champion to clinch all their playoff series on the road since the 1999 San Antonio Spurs, as well as the first road team to win a Finals Game 7 since the 1978 Washington Bullets. The Cavaliers won their first championship in franchise history, ending a nearly 52-year pro sports championship drought for the city of Cleveland. LeBron James was named the unanimous Finals MVP, becoming only the 5th player in NBA history to earn the award 3 times or more. He was also the overall leader in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks during the series, a feat that had never been accomplished in an NBA playoff series. Tyronn Lue became the 14th coach to win an NBA championship as a head coach and a player. After 13 years, James had finally brought a championship to the city of Cleveland. That earned him the number 8 spot on our countdown. In baseball, the shot heard round the world was a game-winning home run by New York Giants outfielder and third baseman Bobby Thomson off Brooklyn Dodgers pitcher Ralph Branca at the Polo Grounds in New York City on October 3, 1951, to win the National League pennant. Thomson's dramatic three-run homer came in the ninth inning of the decisive third game of a three-game playoff for the pennant, in which the Giants trailed 4-2. The game, the first ever televised nationally, was seen by millions of viewers across America and heard on radio by millions more, including thousands of American servicemen stationed in Korea, listening on Armed Forces Radio. The classic victory was intensified by the epic crosstown rivalry between the Giants and Dodgers, and by a remarkable string of victories in the last weeks of the regular season by the Giants, who won 37 of their last 44 games to catch the first-place Dodgers and force a playoff series to decide the NL champion. The Giants' late-season rally and 2-1 game playoff victory, capped by Thomson's moment of triumph, are collectively known in baseball lore as the Miracle of Coogan's Bluff, a descriptor coined by the legendary sports columnist Red Smith. The run came in the final moments of the fame and secured not only the Dodgers' victory but also their infamy in sports history. Argentina's World Cup quarterfinal against England and Mexico in 1986 became one of the most famous games in football history thanks to one man, Maradona. He is arguably one of the most talented players ever to grace the game, but one match in particular guaranteed his seat in the football pantheon. There have been few games in World Cup and indeed football history that have left more a lasting impact on the sport than Argentina's victory over England in the 1986 quarterfinals in Mexico City. The match was taken over by the greatest player on the planet at the time, Argentina's captain Diego Maradona. But while Maradona's second goal of the game encapsulated his brilliance perhaps better than any other he scored in his career, his first was an equally perfect example of his ability to create controversy and divide opinion. We're talking, of course,